Are you ready to get in on some fall run striper fishing? In this video, I'll be sharing 5 helpful tips to help you chase down these migrating fish. Let's get into it. Howdy everyone, welcome back to another video. As you'll see in this one, fishing was tough this weekend. But to make the most of it, between the fishing footage, I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about some tips that you can use this fall. So with that, I hope you enjoy it.
We are on our way down to the beach right now. We're gonna be doing the typical fall run thing, trying to find the striper. We got west winds, a new moon, the tide's coming in, so hopefully the stars align and everything works out and we can get on some fish. Only one way to find out, we gotta put in the work, so I'll catch you there.
The most popular question I see during the fall is, what beach or where did you catch this fish? To answer this question bluntly and honestly though, knowing the specific locations or spot burning isn't actually going to help you in the fall, and it's just going to make for some angry fishermen. To be successful during the fall run, you're going to need to be just as mobile as the fish. The migrating striped bass are mostly between Monmouth County and Ocean County during the fall in New Jersey, and a day of fishing can mean traveling anywhere from Sandy Hook all the way down to Island Beach State Park. In the front end of the season, the northern beaches are going to be more abundant. As the season moves along, the entire stretch will be on fire. Towards the tail end, the southern portion of this stretch will be where fish are more prominent during the final days of their run. If you have a day to fish, plan a few beaches that you want to hit, and as you travel between them, take a minute to get out of your car, walk up the dune, and scout out the location. Stick around for the next tip to find out what exactly you're looking for when scouting out an area.
Well, I know you can't see anything but my headlamp, but I'm the only one out here right now. Actually, I'm kind of surprised. I figured there'd be a lot more people here early, but it's kind of a good thing. Like I said, we've got the new moon, so it is pitch black out, and hopefully that'll help us get in on some striper. So let's start casting and see what happens. Just to show you what I'm using here, I got this Plurple SP Minnow with the barbs crushed, and a little bit above it, I've got this little white teaser. So how I'm working this is I've got my rod tip kind of pointed down, not sure if you can see that, and then I'm just slow rolling it back, occasionally throwing in twitches like that. That's all you really need to do with these SP minnows. It's pretty simple to fish. There we go. We're on one. That was like a pretty good fish. Swimming at me. Oh man, I'm so glad. Definitely a striper. Is it? Yeah, it's a nice little chunky bass right there. All right, so we did debarb our hooks, so it should be a quick release. Check that out right away. That's what we're looking for.
All right, here we go. First bass of the fall. Let's go.
All right, let's get a nice little release on you, buddy. Off he goes.
Now you're on the dune, so what indicates that there are fish there? To make this more memorable, let's follow the 4 B's: birds, bait, boats, and bass. If there are flocks of birds diving into the water or congregating over the water in particular spots, then it's likely that there's something underneath them for the birds to feed on, and feeding birds can sometimes mean feeding bass. On the top of the water, you may see some small splashes or some big splashes. The small splashes will indicate a school of bait fish, and the big splashes can indicate some fish feeding on them. Boats are way more mobile than us surf fishermen and sometimes have technology to find fish. Use that to your advantage. If you see a fleet of boats around close to the shore, that could be a good indication that there might be some striper around. Lastly, if you see bass getting caught, that's the clearest indicator you'll get that there's fish around. So grab your gear and get on the beach.
Once the sunlight started to shine over the horizon, the birds really started to wake up in search of some bait.
We got whales and dolphins out there too. Everything's really going on out there, so I don't know. I just really wanted this action to kind of come in this way. The boats are starting to show up too. They think there's probably something underneath these, so again, we're just gonna keep waiting out and hope that some striper come along with it. So I think these birds right here actually have like a little peanut bunker or something in their mouth. They keep fighting over it, but they're moving in closer.
All right, they're in casting distance. There's some crashing right here. There's some crashing over there. I think they're on peanuts. I'm gonna switch up. and hopefully, I don't know, maybe they'll start blitzing right in front of me. That would be incredible.
The main baits in the fall are bunker, peanut bunker, herring, and sand eels. To make sure you land yourself a fish, the best thing you can do is find some lures that imitate what they're feeding on. Sometimes you can visually see the bait fish in the water, sometimes the bait fish will wash up on shore, or if all else fails, the easiest way to do this is to check what the reports are saying. Is it a bunker bite? Is it a sand eel bite? See what others are saying and follow accordingly. Don't be afraid to ask questions too. Whether it's on a beach or in a tackle shop, people are always willing to help. So to match the bunker bite, there's a ton of lures you can use. You've got swim shads, topwater lures, mag darters, SP minnows, bucktails, and the list goes on. It's good to have lures for topwater, the middle of the water column, and the bottom of the water column too. The next major bait is sand eels, and sand eels can be present through the end of the year. To match the hatch, look for slender baits like diamond jigs, sand eel soft baits, or needlefish plugs. There's a million different lures out there for so many different applications, so let me know in the comments what your favorite bunker and sand eel imitation lures are.
Okay, I'm trying this bronze mag darter. Oh man, they're blowing up right there. Oh, we're on right away. Let's go. Oh, it came off. All right, there's definitely action right here.
After that missed bite, I casted for at least an hour, up and down this stretch to no avail.
Everyone's kind of giving up on this bait pod here. I am too, so I'm gonna probably head to another spot and see if we can get anything there. But it is very encouraging to see a ton of bait out there. Kind of means the fall run's really starting to kick off. So hopefully we can get on some more fish this afternoon. If not, we got one in the morning, so we didn't get skunked. We beat the skunk. So I'll catch you at the next spot.
I showed up to this next spot to a lot of boats and some big splashes amongst them. You'll notice in this next clip the water right in front of me darkens a little bit, which is a school of bunkers swimming by.
Oh, big school bunker right in front of me. All right, that's how we know there's a dope bunker around. Just snagged one. Just snagging these little bunker left and right.
Now that you're on the beach, you're gonna have to stay mobile. To find fish and start getting bites, you're gonna have to get your steps in. Walk up and down the beach casting until you start getting a bite. Again, these fish are moving and sometimes quickly, so staying in one spot really decreases your chances of catching fish. It can be tiring in waders and especially carrying a bunch of gear on you, but the sore muscles the next day are always worth it when you find the bite. I start walking towards where there's a larger pod of bunker and some fish crashing on them a little ways away from me. Lots of people were casting into the pod, but I didn't see a single fish caught.
There's a pot of bunker coming up to my right. There's a pot of bunker over to the left. So these two pods should converge basically right where I am. And hopefully that produces fish.
Once again, just endless snagging of bunker, but take note of how clear the water is. This really helped to see the schools of bait fish moving along.
Even though there was a ton of bait around, there was a ton of bunker right up near the beach. I kind of sat around for a little bit, waited to see if anything happened. But I am going to take a little break. It is Penn State football time. We're playing Ohio State today, so it's going to be a big game, hard one to miss. So I'm going to chill for a little bit. Maybe I'll come back to that exact same spot and see if the bait is still there. If it is, I think around sunset, things should get pretty crazy. So that's the hope, that's the plan. Well, I don't want to talk about football, but all I can say is that I hope that I catch a bass later because we need something to turn this day around. So a quick lesson in reading the beach because it's low tide right now, and this is always the perfect time to scout out spots. You can see where these waves are kind of breaking right here. That's a sandbar. And then in between when those waves break, they kind of crest over and then flow through this area right here. This is called the trough. It's a little deeper water between the sandbar and the lip of the beach. So this is always a great place for bait to travel in. And this is kind of where the bait was before, earlier in the day. So
Again, great way to scout out spots and find those deeper pockets of water. All right, we got fish going crazy all the way out there, and everyone's trying to cast to reach them. They're pretty far and no one's hooked up yet, so we're gonna try our best. We got the mag darter on right now and hope that this works. Or hope that they come in close. This has kind of been the scene all day. Fish just being like right outside of casting range, or tons of bait with just no fish on them. But this looks promising. Oh my gosh, they're going insane out there. Oh man. All right, we're getting out on this bar because they're starting to crash to the left. Over to my right here is SP Fishing. I'll put a link to his channel in the description, but he's got one of the craziest fall run videos from last season, so give that a watch. He helped me out big time by saving my phone, which was on the tripod on shore from the rising tide, so shout out to him. Simplex Fishing and Jason from Ski Fish and Enjoy Life were also out there, and I'll put all of their links in the description as well. I met some viewers too, and even though no fish were caught that day, it really was nice getting to know people. Sometimes the best part of the fall run is meeting fellow fishermen and bonding over the tough days and the great days. This madness went on for maybe 30 minutes, with I think only 2 people out of the entire crowd catching fish. Sometimes when the striper is just in a feast frenzy, they're not going to bite whatever you throw at it. I threw bucktails, shads, mag darters, a popper, and yeah, no takes, even though there's tons of fish in front of us. After all that craziness and just not catching anything, now I'm really itching for a bite. So we're gonna try to move down and see what happens. If there's nothing there, is what it is. We had fun today, but let's give it a try. We're giving this one last shot. This is basically just gonna be blind casting. I don't see any bait around or any birds. We're just gonna hope that there's some striper cruising these holes and cuts. So let's find out. Can't hurt to try. It's been a long day, so I think it's time to go home and get some rest. Now that your day on the water is over and you've either caught some fish or learned a thing or two, what do? Well, keeping a log of your fishing trips can be incredibly helpful. It allows you to reflect on what worked well and to plan for future outings too. You can also look back on it in future seasons to figure out what worked well to plan for this season. I've started creating my 2024 log in a spreadsheet that I can update from anywhere. I include key details like date, location, time, high and low tides, the tide I caught the fish on, weather conditions, air and water temperatures, wind direction and speed, and the lures that I used. I also add a notes section where I can jot down a short journal entry about my experiences that day, giving me a more detailed description to look back on. Feel free to add other parameters to your log that you find useful. Remember, writing things down is one of the best ways to improve yourself as an angler. Though the fall can be extremely productive and some of the best action all year, it can still be incredibly difficult and pose a lot of challenges. Some days you'll struggle to find fish, some days you'll find the fish and struggle to catch, and some days it'll just all come together and you'll have the best day of fishing of your life. But it's all about getting out there, putting in your time, and giving it your all. So I hope you found some of these tips helpful for your fall run, and now that the season's kicking off, I wish you the best of luck and I hope you catch a lot of fish. If you're looking for some apparel to rock this fall, feel free to check out my website, and as always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.